Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. This is Sooklal, joined by James, and as always, Kevin. How are you today?
Good. Can't complain.
All right. So the matches are winding down. It's the big boy part of the tournament, and we had our first game today. But before we talk about that, James, let's let the people know why they need to come on down to Smokey and Bunty's.
Yeah, well, come down and join us here at Smokey and Bunty's on the Avenue. We've had a great day of football again, so come down and enjoy the football. But we have all those prizes, Andre. We have that wonderful trip for 2 flights to Tobago. We have 6 packs of beer, things from Angostura, shin guards, and a whole lot more. So come down, enjoy the memorabilia and the bar, and come down for a great time.
Yes. So let's get straight into the game, shall we? Obviously, that's our word. That's the name count, folks. We spoke about that. Morocco took on Portugal. Somebody next to us is not happy right now, but we'll be classy and we won't poke fun at him today. Analysis mode, no more fanboy mode. So James, let me hear your thoughts.
Well, this was a very interesting game. It was a very pensive game for periods of the game. But I think, honestly, Santos got his tactics a little wrong today. You know, but very disappointed. But I have to say, I'm elated for the Atlas Lions. I mean, this is a huge achievement to make it into the semi-finals, and I really think this team can go on and surprise everybody and even go a little stage further. So, as I say, I'm disappointed from a Portuguese standpoint, but from a fan point, absolutely delighted for them.
Yes. Kevin, we always talk about the stats, but let's hear your initial thoughts.
Well, what I would say is that so far for the tournament, I think a lot of people might call it parking the bus at first glance, but I think defensive organization, I think Morocco has been the best in the tournament so far. They seem unbreachable. The only goal they conceded was that own goal against Canada. So no team has been able to breach the defense. And then they are very, very quick on the break. And as we all know, football these days played in transition and in moments. And the amount of players they can get in the opposing half quickly, and they're very, very good on the ball technically. Everything flows through ZH. We see it, other coaches see it, but somehow they can't stop it. And that's the signs of a very, very good team.
A lot of people talking about the red card. It was kind of late in the game. Do you think it really had an impact on the final thing? I mean, it seemed to work for the other team.
Well, on the whole of it, it was probably a second yellow.
Yeah.
But I don't think it impacted this game. But maybe it might impact the other game, because we saw, of course, the captain Saiz going off, and he's an inspirational leader for them. He leads on the back and just really, really pushes his team. And that injury we saw, it doesn't look like it will go away in 2 days. Yeah. And then we also saw they took ZH off. Although I believe that was more precautionary than necessity. So they might be a little short on the bench now with this red card and this player missing the game. But I don't think it impacted this game. I think they stuck to the guns, they stuck to the game plan, and they saw it through as usual.
James?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, as I say, it was probably a second yellow and a red, yes. But, as I say, I'm more worried about the injuries they had, because they won't have the squad as full of stars as the big guns have, Yeah. But, so we saw some defenders come on. I mean, they looked a little raw, let's say, ones that maybe getting the first couple of caps. So I think that would be my worry, the fact that the big guns, like, as I say, Sias was phenomenal for them,
Right.
I hope he can come back. I'm not so sure. And without him, it really takes something away from them.
Yeah.
And when you're coming up against, a big team like France, that is going to be a real danger. I mean, I thought, as Kev mentioned, Ziyech and Hakimi were fantastic as always. Obviously, one picking up a little injury as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. But the coach has to get a lot of credit. Absolutely phenomenal performance. As Kevin said, the fact that they've not conceded a goal, with the exception of the own goal, speaks volumes.
Yes.
And the fact they're scoring goals too. The goal from En-Nesyri, wonderful header. I mean, I think, to be honest, the goalkeeper for Portugal could have done better from a goalkeeping perspective. I think he comes out there, doesn't really get anywhere near it. I think if he's not getting near it, he has to stay in his line and let his defenders do the job. He did not do that, and he's punished. And that's a cruel game of football, So that little mistake may haunt him for a while.
Yes. So as always, we talk about the statistics, our favorite part. We'd probably have an entire show for that if we could, but we can't. So 12 shots for Portugal versus 9 for Morocco, 3 on target for both teams. But the possession, once again, this is a theme we spoke about multiple times during this tournament. 74% for Portugal versus 26% for Morocco. Dominant in possession, but once again, there's a bit of a debate with possession versus effectiveness. Some people love it, some people don't. In this particular case, it didn't work for Portugal. What are your thoughts?
Well, the one thing I would say, as we see hearing somebody beeping us there on the avenue, but I think the tactics were a little wrong from Portugal's point of view. It ended up being like one man feeding five at times, and I think he had Bruno Fernandes playing right wing. To me, he should have been playing centre midfield, because you've got guys like Bernardo Silva who's then back trying to feed the ball to these players, and it just didn't work. And they waited so long to make changes. I mean, I have to say, obviously Ramos in the last game got a hat-trick, absolutely fantastic, but I think he gave absolutely nothing today, really, and I think it would be better if Ronaldo was on the field earlier on. I think the fact that they left out Cancelo as well, they put Dalot to left back, was a huge mistake in my opinion. So there was so many things, and I think they just had nothing in midfield with the exception of that long ball forward. So they really just ran out of ideas, but all credit to Morocco. They held strong, they defended for their lives at times, and I thought Bono as well, you know, the sweetest thing, he had a great game again.
Bono. Kevin, I hope you're ready. The YouTube references will be coming when you least expect it. But let's hear your thoughts about, you know.
Well, I think the coach of Morocco has to be given, as James said, a lot of credit. He won the African Champions League, I think, and that's what got him this job. And the first thing he did, I thought was the most important thing, was getting Ziyech back into the team, because, you know, Ziyech had retired. He had a bit of a falling out with the previous coach, and I think he has been inspirational to them. But I think it's brilliant. Kudos to him for assessing what he has and getting a game plan and getting something to work. You know, when you think about the players, other than Ziyech, you think about Hakimi, Mazwari, Saiss, Amrabat, all defensive. So what he did is a defense-first approach, organized, and we hit on transitions.
But I think one thing we saw from him was he was a coach that wasn't scared to make substitutes, change. I mean, he didn't necessarily change the system, but he changed players, and I think that's one thing from the big coaches in the tournament we've not seen enough of, you know, making the right substitute at the right time. And as I say, Waleed did a great job in that.
Correct. So the big topic that, you know, we can't not avoid, Cristiano Ronaldo. There was a lot of, you know, debate about his use during the tournament. Tactically, you know, the things going on behind the scenes. What do you think, James? We'll start with you, and Kevin, you could give me your thoughts. So the tournament is done. There's another scenario about him walking off the pitch. That's something we'll talk about later on. Do you think he was used properly?
I don't think he was used properly in this last game. I think, as I say, you've got to give kudos to the coach when he brought in Ramos in the last game and got a hat-trick. Masterstroke in a sense, you know. And I think the way the coach explained that Ramos brought something different. He got more involved in the defensive side of the game, which is fine. But I think in this game, when you needed to go and win it, it was not the right choice to keep Ronaldo on the bench. But as I say, you live and die by your decisions as a coach. And I think, obviously, the coach will die by decisions. And I think he'll probably be looking for a new job on Monday.
Oh, my God. That's very savage, James. Kevin, let's hear about your thoughts on Ronaldo.
I would agree with resting Ronaldo for the Switzerland game. I thought that was a game that they could have managed. So he decided, you know, to get some other players on the pitch, get some minutes under the belt in case he needed them. But I think for this game, when you're facing a team that has not conceded a goal other than our own goal for the entire tournament, it's obviously a team hard to break down. You need your best goal scorer on the pitch. And we saw when Ronaldo came on, he had 3 players on him, and his runs were pulling 2. So it was opening up spaces, and you have to think maybe a fresh João Felix, a fresh Bruno Fernandes with that type of space in the first half might have put some chances away. I thought it was the wrong decision for this game, but I thought the tournament on the whole, Ronaldo has not been used, again, this is my opinion, in his best position. I don't think he's an out-and-out 9. I still think he's an attacker from the left and coming in on the right, because Ronaldo serves a fantastic cross as well. So that is something that people have overlooked, because he's such a phenomenal goal scorer. You know, he serves the ball up very, very well, and I thought you could have fit him, Ramos and Leao into this team.
But as you say that, I mean, I don't think Felix had a great tournament, and I think that was to be the natural choice in some of the games to bring Ronaldo on there and play Ramos with him, you know. So that's why I'm saying Santos probably will look back and think, you know, I should have done this, I should have changed this. And maybe he shouldn't have played, you know, that rigid 4-3-3, and he should have maybe went to something a little more, a 4-2-3-1, changed it up a little bit in some of the games. So, but again, like I say, you live and die by your decisions as a coach. We know this, and as I say, it's probably going to come back to haunt them.
Yes, you know, so obviously we know their opponents, which we'll talk about in a little while, and I'm going to, you know, spoil the suspense, although everybody probably knows already. We live in the age of information. But before we move along, you know, I'd just like to send, you know, a quick message to the folks of SJG. We did a quick interview with them, SJG Accessories and Watches. So, you know, we'll take a quick look of a little interview we did with them yesterday. I have this lovely Argentina watch. So let's take a quick look about, you know, what they have and where you can get them. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with a lovely representative from SJG Watches and Accessories. As you can see, I have mine as well after the Argentina game. So, before we get started, could you introduce yourself to us?
Hi, my name is Nia. I'm a supervisor at SJG Watches, and we basically sell all different brands and types of watches.
Excellent. So, give us a little tour of the watches.
All right, so we decided since the World Cup is coming up that we would do country-themed watches. So we have analog and digital watches. The digital watches, they're about 43 mm in size, but it still looks good on a female hand. We have the digital watches here. Once you press, you get the time. It tracks your steps and your movements. And each country watch, it has the theme and the logo of the country. So it's Portugal, we have Croatia, France, England, Brazil. Even though they're going home, we still have some Brazil watches left.
Very nice. So, obviously, many people will be interested in this watch just like I am. So please, let the people know how much it will cost.
All right, so the watches are just $200 if you come down to Smokey and Bunty's during the games.
Excellent. So, folks, be sure to come on down. There's a lot of incentives here to come on down to Smokey and Bunty's. You have these lovely watches, which you'll get a lovely discount.
And be sure to like and follow us on Instagram or Facebook. So just search SJG Watches.
All right, folks. So, as usual, I'm recovering from the Argentina game. We're going to go back to the analysis with Kevin, James, and myself. And once again, it's been a pleasure. And we'll definitely be looking at the people who have been buying these watches. All right, folks. So, you know where to get those watches. Come and get them. We'll have some down here. When you come to Smokey and Bunty's, as she said, you're going to get them for $200. And maybe a little, prize, maybe a giveaway for, a lucky person. So, back to the football. So, there's a talking point. It's all over social media and so on. Obviously, you cannot talk about this game, whether you like it or not, with their main man, Cristiano Ronaldo, once again. We saw on social media and on the game itself that the manner in which he walked off the pitch seemed to annoy a lot of people. A lot of differing opinions. So, Kevin, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's a two-part reason why he did it. I think first reason is obviously every media outlet in the world right now would want to talk to Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he just needed some time to compose himself. He was distraught, obviously. He probably just wanted that 2 or 3 minutes just to calm himself down so that he could speak to the media. And the other part is maybe he just wanted let the attention be on Morocco for a while, because we saw when he was benched for Switzerland during the national anthems, instead of the cameras being on the teams, it was on him.
Yeah.
So I think, that although a lot of people would say, well, he didn't congratulate Morocco and whatever, but I think that was his way of keeping some attention on Morocco. Let me get out of the limelight for the first initial time. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's a fact, but I'm pretty sure he went to the dressing room or he went back out on the pitch at some point and congratulated them. I think that's the type of person he has been. I know the media has painted him in a certain way as well, but I think he is a great humanitarian, and he's a sportsman. So I think he would have congratulated them at some point, but I think at that moment, right after the final whistle, the disappointment of being benched, disappointed of going out of the World Cup, I think he just wanted a little alone time, and it's understandable.
Nice. James?
Yeah, I think he wanted some clarity, and I heard a lot of things in the local media which is absolutely atrocious, because I think some of these people talking on shows and things, they don't necessarily know what it's like to be in that limelight, and I think I heard some things, and as I say, in my opinion, nonsense what they said.
Yeah.
He had to go in there, compose himself, because as Kev said, you have to then give interviews, you have to go talk about it, and even sometimes it's better to go say nothing and say something, erratic or out of the way, because as we saw yesterday, I know your boy went over to the Dutch bench and had a few things to say, and to me that's the wrong way to do it. So I would rather, to me, my star go over and go to the changing rooms and compose himself. So two contrasting, decisions for both players, but to me, to go and slaughter a player for doing that, especially with the emotion of the game, I think is absolutely nonsense. And as I say, unless you played at that top level, you have no idea what it's like.
Yep.
Well, James, I would win. Let's just imagine Ronaldo had done what Messi did yesterday. They would have slaughtered him in the media, a sore winner, and all of these things. I personally found, you go back to when Canada said some things about Croatia after that narrow loss against Belgium. Croatia came out and beat them on the field, and one interview after that, one of the players said, well, Canada had a lot to say, we answered them on the field. I think Messi and them got their job done. They answered Holland on the field. It had no need for the extra, and then Paredes as well, kicking the ball into the dugout. I think that kind of sparked it all, and I was just thinking that if that was Ronaldo, it would have been different. It would not have been heroic. It would have been villainous. So, different strokes, different folks, I think.
Yeah, well, listen, that's the thing about this. Lots of people could look at the same game and interpret it differently. Football is a ridiculously passionate game. Anybody who's played at any sort of level, like even at the highest level, there's a lot of this going on. So some people, coaches tell players, James, Kevin, we all know this. There's a lot of banter that goes on in this game, and these guys are playing at the highest level. They are human beings, so their reactions are, whether we like it or not, they are human. When you lose a game, you're gonna go sour Dutch fan out there, but that's okay. They're out and they're gone. But anyway, so the thing is, both players have to be aware. For both guys, you're on the top stage. You have to know these cameras are on you, whether you like it or not, and that's the problem. When emotion gets the better of you. You can't undo it now. Social media and media, you're painted for life. So, as James and you said, I agree. I think it's kind of wrong to kind of sit there and dissect these guys like Ronaldo walking off the pitch.
Well, the one thing I would say is, no matter what you do, somebody out there is going to say something bad about you. So at the end of the day, it's done now. He did what he did. Messi did what he did. At the end of the day, it's about the football.
Correct. Yeah. So that's a whole other discussion. In fact, we'll put up a discussion in the Facebook group and let people talk about what they think about the group stages and all those things and whatever. But guys, we have another game to talk about, but before we speak about that game, let's hear a lovely message from the beautiful folks at Biotech. All right, folks, and we're back. And we have to talk about the next game of the day. The Three Lions took on Les Bleus, France.
Wait. Is that a plane?
Holy crap.
It's Harry Kane's shot.
This has to be the penalty kick from Harry Kane, right?
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Harry Kane. What happened, Harry Kane? Harry Kane messed with his teammate at Tottenham. Folks, we're going to be talking about that. So, guys, the England game, I hate to say this. A lot of people didn't give England much of a chance before this game. But kudos to them. The game was a lot closer than it looked. We all three of us agreed that it was going to be. It ended 2-1. Harry Kane got that penalty. It was a bit of a little mind games between him and his teammate, but he won the first battle. Not so much the second battle. We saw where the ball landed. And then obviously, Oliver Giroud and so on, they got the 2-1. Guys, this is a game. There's so much to talk about. Where do we start?
Well, this was it's a fantastic game. I thought early on France were the better team by far, and then England came back into it, and it was a very, very good contest. I have to say that. And it came down to individual moments. Obviously, Giroud, absolutely fantastic header to win it, and but the big talking points and the villain will always be Harry Kane. I mean, he scored the first penalty. Had a pretty decent game. We've spoken about it many times. I don't think he's a centre forward. I think he's more an attacking mid, or a centre forward who drops into attacking mid. But that penalty that he missed, it will haunt him. I mean, there was Stuart Pearce back in the past, and now they'll be talking about Harry Kane. God. There was no hurricane. Maybe the hurricane sucked up the ball and it went in the atmosphere and it came down here. I don't know, but it was wow.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
David.
Again, as you said, it was a lot closer than I thought. I kind of thought France would run away with this. Kudos to Walker. I think Walker kept Mbappe quiet for the majority of the game. He had his moments, but he wasn't able to influence the game as he has influenced others. But that also came at a price where England wasn't able to build anything down their right-hand side because they were so occupied with Mbappe and, of course, Saka running all the way back as well. Saka, by the way, I thought had a fantastic game. Probably one of the unsung, maybe top 3 players at the World Cup right now, I think, with the way he gets into spaces and he wins fouls and he won the penalty. I thought, as James said, France started very well maybe for the first 15-20 minutes, but I thought for the next 65 minutes I thought England would probably be the better team. They looked like they had the impetus. They looked like they really wanted to run away with it at a point. But again, as we all know, modern football, James, you will know, is won in transition, is won in moments. And I think that France took their moments. I think the goal from Tchouameni, fantastic strike. I mean, brilliantly placed. And then for me, being a Chelsea fan, the criminally undervalued Olivier Giroud coming up big for France again. I mean, it was a header under immense pressure. Harry Kane on his back, and again, you know, when you have a player like Giroud, because other than that goal, he was winning everything. He was winning all the balls up top. So he's this outlet when you're under the kind of pressure England was putting France under. You know, you can stick the ball up there, and Giroud will most likely bring it under control, hold it up, and release that pressure. So I think he's so important to this French team. And I might even say, even if Benzema had been there, they might have gone with Giroud up top anyway, you know, because just what he brings, I think, is different. I'm not saying it's better than Benzema, but it's so different, and it helps, you know, the Dembélés and the Griezmanns and the Mbappés around him so much.
I think it made an easy decision for Deschamps, the fact that obviously Benzema was out, so because it would have been a huge decision to make.
Yeah.
I mean, you spoke about, for example, I thought Griezmann did not have the best of games today. I thought, you know, Tchouaméni's fantastic strike. I thought Pickford for England had some big saves, so I have to say, I mean, he's not a goalkeeper that I rate too highly in the Premier League, but for England, he was phenomenal. And I thought defensively, England did pretty well over the period. I mean, obviously the goals, but I thought Walker, as you mentioned, handled Mbappe, you know, incredibly, because we know the pace he has. And then Harry Maguire, I mean, we talk about, you know, coming into the tournament, he's a player that could be their weakness, but I have to say, all in all, he had a very good tournament, and he had a decent game today, you know, so England will be disappointed. Obviously, they're going home. There's no more. It's coming home. But
it's going home.
At the end of the day, France are the better team, and they'll go on to place, obviously, Morocco in the next round.
Yeah.
But you have to give the Blue a lot of credit.
Yes, and obviously, our favorite time, stats time. So, England had 16 shots versus France with 8 on target for England, 5 for Les Bleus. France, possession, 58% for England, 42% for France. It was close-ish, I guess. Gareth Southgate, let's talk about Gareth Southgate. Now, Gareth Southgate has done a lot better than people expected. He wasn't my favorite coach. A lot of people, he wasn't the popular choice, let's be honest. And his football has been under scrutiny by a lot of people. But then when you look at the results, the last World Cup, you know, he got to the semis, I believe. Then he got to the Euro finals, and he did, you know, by international standards, okay. What do you think about, you know, is he going to stay? Is he gone? What's happening?
Well, I'm pretty sure he's gone. But what I would say, from a football perspective, football is not played on paper.
Yes.
So on paper, he's did an incredible job, actually. If you were to look at other countries, they'd be delighted with that.
Yeah.
But they've not got that elusive win. You know, that big trophy that they've been looking for years, since 1966. But at the end of the day, it was just a step too far. And I think the criticism I would have with him is his system is too rigid.
Yeah.
He has probably one of the best squads in the tournament, and he doesn't change it up. You know, he has when you can bring on Rashford, players like this with the pace they have, keep Jack Grealish on the bench. I mean, and you're not changing it to bring these players in. I would say it's criminal. So I think, honestly, he'll be looking for a new job. Whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it is, he will be. And I think there'll be quite a few managers very interested in that role because the quality they have.
Yeah. I think international football is such a strange animal.
Yeah.
You know, it's very rarely about the talent and more about the system, the changes. Are you able to motivate these players? Because at this level, you have to remember, is the 11 best players of each country. So we expect them to be at a certain level. So are you able to gel? Are you able to motivate? And I think that's where Gareth Southgate comes up a bit short.
Well, I would take you a stage further. I would say, yes, it is about the system and all these things, but it's about managing egos. And I would imagine in that English changing room or that dressing room, there is a lot of egos because you've got guys that are MBEs, you've got guys that are captains of their team, you've got guys playing at, you know, they would think are the best teams in the world. So it's a huge job for a player who, yes, played for England, you know, did very well for England, but I think coming from Middlesbrough, I think it was before, and then he went to coach England under 21s, I think, he needed maybe a little more experience. I think a more experienced coach would tweak the system, you know, use players in maybe a little different position, but he was not able to do that, and as I say, I think that will cost him his job.
Yep, and the thing with England is that I've noticed, let's say for the last 4 World Cups, they've always, you know, had pretty strong squads. That's debatable. I know a lot of people, that's a whole English Premiership, whatever, that's a whole other argument, but they've always had, you know, quote-unquote strong teams. Yet, we've never really seen, as James said, you know, England really show their, you know, potential in terms of attacking. They've always been, even all the way back to 2010, you know, they struggled. They struggled to click, and there was a documentary that came out that the rivalry with the clubs has a major part to play why there's that lack of cohesion in the... I don't know if that's still the case. I know Southgate had a lot of progressive things he added, but, you know, they've been trying to find that formula for a long time now. This is another blip in the radar. It seems familiar for the English, I'm sorry. But what can they really do? Who can they hire? I mean, that's a question we'll ask the fans. But where does England go now?
Well, the funny thing is, I think Gareth Southgate has done well, but I think he has taken this England generation as far as he could take them. I think they probably need someone a little more innovative, maybe a little more experienced to deal with egos. I would say someone like a Mourinho.
Yeah.
You know, Mourinho, yeah, you know, managing England for so long, accustomed to the players, accustomed to the English society, customs. So, you know, he might be able to manage them better, gel them a little bit better. And, you know, when you look at all the players that play under Mourinho, they always say that his psychological management is fantastic. The rivalry with the clubs has eased, I think. You know,
Yeah.
I think they are more collective unit now. I just think, you know, England problem, sad to say, has been the coach in the crunch moments where, you know, as you say, not making the right decisions or failing to bring on a player or...
Well, there was times in that game, Kev, that we said, you know, 10, 15 minutes before the substitutes were made, they should have been made, you know,
Yeah.
bring fresh legs on. To me, I mean, he obviously went with Jordan Henderson today, you know, and I think, although Jordan Henderson has been a fantastic servant for Liverpool, could he have went with somebody a little bit more progressive in there, you know, or change up the system so they could play a little bit more forward rather than, you know, that rigid 4-3-3 they play?
Well, they could have, and maybe Calvin Phillips is not as fit as we once thought. You know, there was a lot of a backlash for him naming him in the squad because he only played, I think, 27 minutes of football before the World Cup. But I thought also the change, although Mason Mount won the penalty, on form, I think Grealish or Maddison would have been a better addition. I thought that bringing back Sterling after that traumatic experience, bringing him right back into the squad to try something, I thought all those decisions might have cost them in the end.
Well, you talked about Madison, and that's a funny one because obviously before the tournament he had an injury, he came in, he made the squad, but to me, what's the point of having a player there and you don't use him? I mean, we saw Tite from Brazil, he gave everybody in his squad a game, but to me, there was too many players there in the England squad that didn't get a chance. We saw it probably with some of the other teams as well, but at the end of the day, you have 26 men there, use them.
Yeah.
Well, I would add as well, I think what England may have been missing is when they're chasing games, Harry Kane tends to drop all the way back to the centre circle, and they depend on their wide players to provide, you know, that attacking impetus. But maybe Ivan Toney, maybe could hold the ball up and play in the wide players rather than trying to go to them directly. You know, that was, or maybe even a Tammy Abraham, also very good at that. So, you know, he would have questions to
Mourinho was
answer.
angry about that.
Very angry, and, you know, you can't really question leaving out Smalling and Tomori because they did well defensively.
Yeah.
But I think maybe a different player up top to take some of the pressure off of Harry Kane being, I think if you look at the squad, he's the only out-and-out striker they have, and even that, he drops so deep, he's not even the traditional 9. So I think maybe, you know, he'll have questions to answer.
Well, I think one of the other things as well is obviously he had to play Walker to counteract Mbappe, right? But when you've got guys there like Trent Arnold there, you know, so to me, they could have went a little bit more attacking, but again, they would have had to sacrifice that coverage at the back, and that's where the problem lies. You give Mbappe that little space, he could kill you. So, but to me, at the end of the game, when you're going for it, why not go for it? You know, I mean, I'd rather lose 5-3 or 5-1 than, you know, go and lose 2-1, you know, and don't try. So, but again, I'll say it, coaches live and die by their decisions, and we'll see what happens next for Gareth Southgate.
Yep, you know, so we spoke a lot about England, which could be an entire episode by itself, but let's touch on France really quickly before we move on to just doing a quick chat about the semis. Les Bleus, what do we say? You know, are they looking like the real deal now? Are there flaws?
No,
It's
I
almost
think
like we're scared to predict now because things are all over the
the
place,
World Cup's
right?
so unpredictable, but
Yeah.
I think given the injury crisis that France had coming into the World Cup,
Yeah.
I think you have to give them credit for reaching the semi-final. Everybody was saying, well, he's out and he's out and he's out, and they will struggle. But again, Deschamps proved that maybe he has a little more steel than we think. Maybe he has a little more man management skills than we think. I think Trimini has been fantastic, and to think that if Pogba was there, Kanté was there, we might even have seen this young man play.
Yeah.
He still has Camavinga on the bench. It's a rare talent that Deschamps has, and I think that France could go all the way, but Morocco is a stern test.
Well, You mean Morocco? You mean France B team, or you mean Morocco? I don't know. I mean, just a joke there, because obviously a lot of the Moroccan players, French born. So
Yes.
I mean, they're definitely not a B team, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So the one thing I would say with the French team is they have balance.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they lost Pogba and Kante. To me, Rabiot's been absolutely fantastic in there. I mean, he's been doing it at Juventus. I know Man United wanted to sign him, but to me, he's went up hugely on my radar. I thought Dembele has given that balance on the opposite side to Mbappe.
Yeah.
And as I say, Giroud, absolutely phenomenal up top. And even defensively, Varane coming in after, I think, the second game. The only weak link I think they have is Koundé at right back. But I think you've got to give Hugo Lloris a lot of credit too. He leads from the back, he organises, he's a skipper there, and he may not have had a huge amount of saves in the tournament so far, but that leadership, that extra that he brings, has been phenomenal too.
Yes. So guys, let's move on. We'll do a quick touch on the upcoming games. So obviously, we'll take a look at the semis. It's set now, down to the final four. It feels like the tournament is just flying past. We have Argentina taking on Croatia, France taking on Morocco. Guys, just your quick reactions on these games. I'm like, it's crazy. Like we said this at the beginning. This is like an analyst nightmare, because every scenario that we could think of is happening. If you asked 99% of people yesterday, Brazil would have been gone. They would have said, that's crazy. If you said Portugal would have been gone, they said it would have been crazy. That game against Argentina and Netherlands, which was absolutely insane. We knew it was going to be close. But these are the two teams we have to face, the four teams that have to play now. Guys, quick thoughts. Which one, who do you think is going to make it through from both?
But the other thing I just thought of there, when I was looking at the match, Messi plays for PSG, we know this.
Right.
Could you imagine it ends up being an Argentina France final, him having to go and beat his employers in theory?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, that would be a huge talking point as well.
Yeah, there's so much dynamics here.
Well, I think the best final would be Argentina-France.
Yeah.
I would admit it.
I think from a fan perspective,
From a fan
I think
perspective.
it would draw the best crowd, but
But for me, who is in a lot of groups and has a lot of people in my ears, I would want someone who I know for a fact that nobody in Trinidad could come and tell me, hey, I had them. I tell you, so Morocco-Croatia for me would be the perfect final. That's what my heart wants, but my brain say France-Argentina. But I just say, let me poke a little fun and say Morocco-Croatia, just to be different.
I've been doing this for years. I could take it all. But the thing is, I really think that Croatia-Argentina game is going to be one of the trickiest games. I've been saying that for all the games. None of the games have been easy. So I think it's going to go to extra time.
well, I know in Fergie time they used to say that was squeaky bum time, and I know for you that's going to be the same thing.
Squeaky.
Well, one thing I'll say, Andre, what I would say might solidify Argentina is that a lot of people might look Australia and of course Netherlands was what we call in Trinidad a scrape through.
Yeah.
But I think that could also solidify you that you could grind out games.
Yeah.
You could grind out results, and that could really help them going not just the semi-finals but the final, because we all know when it comes to this type of football is who could grind out the results. And Argentina show, although the wins should be more comfortable, they proved that they could fight it out and they could grind it out. And France necessarily has not had to grind out a game yet. But we know Morocco is the grinders.
Yeah.
But so I think
The grinders.
Argentina might have a good chance to grind out results, and I think that is what might make the difference in that Croatia game.
Yes. So folks, you can let us know what you think in the comment section below. We'll also have a proper preview as well. So we'll have another preview as well for both games where we discuss, strengths, weaknesses, lineups. We'll have polls who's going to win. James, any final thoughts?
Well, just to remind everybody, so those games obviously are in a few days' time. So on Tuesday we would have obviously Croatia against Argentina at 3 p.m. So come down here at Smoky and Bunty's and join us for the game. And then on Wednesday it'll be France against Morocco at 3. So we have 2 days off. We can get a little rest and recuperation.
Yes.
Obviously we have to do the previews, but it's good to get that, and the players need it, we need it, and and then also we had a prize winner today.
Yes.
So we had our friend Kelly Agard.
Yes.
Won a wonderful prize, and we'll show that after the show.
Yep.
And it's great because anybody coming down here to the bar gets a chance to win all these prizes. Those 2 flights to Tobago, 6 packs of beer, things from Angostura, and then another thing to remember is the final on the 18th of December.
Yes.
It's going to be a massive event. We have a massive TV going up in the car park. It's going to be a huge VIP event.
Yes.
We're going to send out a lot of these to some people out there, and so come down with your friends, your family, bring everybody, and enjoy the day down here at Smoky and Bunty's.
Correct. There's a lot of reasons to come down, folks. We've been giving away all these things. The prizes are running away now, folks. So you have to make sure and try to get yours and continue to support us. And James, we're going to end the show like we always do. Let them hear it.
Well, after a disappointing day from me, and a great day for some others. Make sure you all tune into the greatest show on earth.